President Trump celebrating his first 100 days in office with a rally in Michigan, just as national polls showing dropping approval numbers across a number of issues. CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enton, joining me now. So the national polls, we all remember, underestimated Trump in 2024. What if they are doing so in a similar fashion now? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, a lot of Trump advocates, including Trump himself, has argued that because the polls were off in 2024, quote unquote, you can't trust the polls now. That is a line of BS. That is a scientific term for it, is BS. What am I talking about here? Well, let's just talk about Trump's average net approval rating. I averaged across 5 recent national polls among registered voters, so we're talking voters here, not adults. Currently, he's averaging, get this, minus 12 points, way underwater. But okay, let's say the polls are off like they were in 2024. What would his net approval rating be? Well, it's pretty gosh darn similar. It's minus 10 points. He's still way underwater. Historically low for a president, only basically matching himself last time around. Way below where Joe Biden was, way below where Barack Obama was, way below where George W. Bush was at this point in their presidencies. And that is because the national polls, although they underestimated Trump in 2024, they only underestimated his margin by about 2 points. So we give him the 2 points here, and he's still swimming with the fishes, way underwater, no matter what way you put it, at least if we apply the polls being off like they were in 2024.
So those are presidential races, but we are now going towards a midterm in 2026. What if the polls are currently off like they were in 2018?
Yeah, okay. So let's take it a different way, right? Let's just say the polls are off like they were in 2018 because we're heading into a midterm election. All the House Republicans, some Senate Republicans, wondering how popular is Donald Trump. Well, if the polls are off like they were in 2018, get this. His net approval rating, we apply that same error, would be minus 13 points, which is actually a point worse than it currently is according to the average of the national polls at minus 12 points. That is because in 2018, the national polls actually underestimated Democrats when it came to the national House vote. So if the polls are off like they were in 2018, that does Donald Trump no favors in terms of his popularity. It's actually slightly worse. And one last thing I will point out, Sarah Seidner, it is this. Trump's net approval rating, we take a look at all the 5 national polls. Underwater, 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 all by double digits at this particular point. There is just no good signs for Donald Trump when it comes to his popularity, at least when it comes to his net approval rating. It is historically low, no matter how you slice it.
All right, Harry Enton giving us the business. Really appreciate it.